Are we live? What's up, Cece?
We're live, except for Facebook doesn't like us.
Why doesn't Facebook like us?
I don't know. I don't. We don't seem to be going live on Facebook.
Shoot, that's the best part. We got to put that on Facebook. How do we get that? How do we get that going on?
Let me see if I can edit it somehow.
Yeah, we're on TikTok. What's up,
We are
TikTok?
live on YouTube,
On
so
on the YouTubes.
we're live now.
Oh, good, good, good.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Cece. How you doing? I miss you.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was sick 2 weeks ago, and then last week I sliced my. It feel bad for me. I sliced my finger open last week. It was terrible.
Oh, a paper cut.
No, no, no. It was bad. Let me tell you, it was bad. It was a can opener gone completely awry. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I hope that my fraternity brothers appreciated my blood. So as it didn't go in the food, but as I cooked the meal.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be awful going into food.
Yeah,
We don't want to think about that. So,
absolutely
you
not.
guys, if you don't know who you're listening to or why you're listening to us, we are
What's
on.
going on?
No, you're just hanging out with us, and we
Yeah,
appreciate it. But we're on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are the number one internet talk network, and we're going bold tonight. This is our
absolutely.
night for going bold. This is the Boy and Girl Thing show. I am Cece Schatz, and I have my good friend with me, Dr. Christopher Salute.
Good,
Yeah.
good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Christopher Salute. I am a certified life and relationship coach. Really excited to chat with Cece tonight. I'm just excited to be on the show. I didn't do a show last week either. Megan was in town for our kind of spring break, and even though I was working all day, I didn't do a show in the evening. So excited to get back on the air, talk to you a little bit about what's going on in life. And what are we talking about tonight, Cece?
Well, tonight we're going to talk about social media and how it impacts relationships.
Absolutely. So I thought this was kind of a good topic because I thought a couple of things, Cece. What do you think about these ideas? Number one, the idea that and let's be real, we're about 3 years apart. So, the idea that you grew up in a time when social media just wasn't part of life and wasn't part of relationships. Now, how is it impacting the romantic relationships of your generation, right? And then I will say on my end, one thing that really, really changed my perception, I was married when social media started to blow up. Facebook was really the only thing going on. And by the time I was separated, Tinder was all the rage. And so very much changed during the time that I was with someone, kind of the landscape of dating, romantic relationships, and social media to the point now where it is unrecognizable. So I'd love to hear what you think about these things and how they positively and negatively impact romantic relationships.
Yeah, that, saying that, it's hard for me because I'm so involved in social media
Hmm.
to actually be with someone that's not part of social media,
Right, your partner's
because
not
then
big on
they're like,
social.
yeah, they're like, what are you on your phone for? What are you on your computer for?
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
don't really
Hmm.
understand that,
Right,
and
right,
and sometimes they take it wrong. They take it that you're doing something maybe inappropriate, which is not
right.
necessarily the case. So,
No, that's crazy. Oh, you know what I'm just realizing as I'm live on TikTok? My headphones are on TikTok. Let me know if you can understand what's going on hearing half the conversation. If you can't, I'll take the headphones off and we'll listen to Cece together. But I think I'm loud enough and repeating enough of what she says. So it's interesting you say that about social media. So I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna get real tonight. I had a conversation with my partner, and I think it's time we can talk. I talk about my partner Megan a little bit on the show, but we're invested in one another, and knock on wood, we're gonna try to make this thing till death to us part. And so it's okay to include her in some of these conversations. So something that I chatted with Megan about last week was we have very different schedules with regard to our sleep schedule. So I wake up around 4 a.m. or I try to. She's more of a 7 a.m. if she's lucky kind of a riser because she has late classes that keep her up late. And I said to her, she so she said, "Are you cool if I go to sleep a little bit later than you?" And I said, "Absolutely, 100% cool with it." here's what I'm not cool with, and I'm going to be real with you. I'm not cool with, and this is my own insecurity. I don't want you to be staying out of bed for 1-2 hours while you're on social media, and then me waking up early and going on social media and chit-chatting with whomever, because we've teetered between, open relationships and stuff when you're not awake. And the reason is, and this comes from my own bias, this comes from my own negative experience. When I was getting a divorce, we were still living together, and for that last couple of months, I didn't come to bed. I was down in the basement on social media talking to people I shouldn't have been talking to. And not, I will tell you this. I will say, number one, still to this day, one of the most disgusting feelings I still have about myself. I am ashamed of that man. I am ashamed of that person and what he did. And it's me. It's not me. It's me. Number two, I wish I could do it all over again. But number three, I will not be in a relationship where we are hiding that from one another. If my partner's got a crush on somebody, let's talk about who the crush is. Yeah, right? Like you got a crush on Shia LaBeouf. Let's talk about it. He's a hot looking dude, right? Let's figure that out. So, what are your thoughts on that? This inappropriate getting on social media, kind of doing your thing.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at that. Number one is that when you're on social media and you're with your partner, you're really not with your partner. Yeah.
Right.
You're not really spending time with them at all. You're basically spending time with your phone and whoever it is on the other side of that phone. So, that's number one thing. And I think the other thing is, why do you feel the need to talk to someone else other than the partner you're with? Why do you feel like you have to be on there? Now, I get it because I'm on social media and I've made friends and they'll contact me and I have a feeling that I need to do that. But when I do that, I try to evaluate, is it, number one, do I need to do this right now? Or if I do, then I try to share it with my partner to let them know, what I'm doing and this has got to be done right now. So I've got to get this done. So that kind of thing. So, because a lot of my stuff is work related. So, I think that's understandable. But I've seen it where someone will take their phone in the bathroom and shut the door.
Oh yeah, no.
And when that happens, that's not a good thing. That's that's a real bad feeling for the person on the other side of that door.
And you know what, too, right? And by the way, I've got some TikTok. What did I miss? Keep the lines open, communication, all that. So here's what you missed, Lex. So we're talking about social media and how it impacts relationships, right? So here's what I'll say about communication. Two things. PsychCentral.com will exactly agree with you. They say you're missing out on quality time with your partner when you're on your phones, right? And we've seen this, right? I see teenagers, and I'm going to sound like an old man right now. I see teenagers at the table eating dinner, and they're sending each other messages, or they're talking to people outside of. Bro, when you're in the room with somebody, enjoy your time in the room, right? Why are you walking around Disney World talking to somebody who's not there? Enjoy your time there, right? So we get that, but here's the thing about communication. What you mentioned was very important, because somebody goes into the bathroom, they lock the door. They go on social media. I won't guarantee because I'm not going to put my reputation on the line. I would bet, though, and I'd be willing to bet, they're not doing anything inappropriate. They're probably looking at funny videos. Now, what message do you send your partner? When Megan and I were getting back on track with regard to our, moving from casualness to openness to monogamous, when she was looking at social media, man, I got to be honest, I got so anxious, my body was crawling, and I'm sure she felt the same way. And so the question becomes, what is she doing on social media? Then a couple of months later, she would show me what she's doing on social media, and it was the same thing she was doing months before. She was sending me a TikTok. She was writing something about me, or like you mentioned, it's work related. She's got to do a social media post for Universal Standard or Reb Dolls or something like that. And here I am freaking out. So communication about what you're doing is important as well.
Right. We're getting some sort of back feed from you. I don't know what it is exactly.
So unfortunately, it's pouring out right now. Can you still hear me?
Oh, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the rain.
Is it terrible?
No, I mean, we can live with it, but that's what the noise is. I hear.
Yeah, it's very loud. So my office is an extension of the house, and the roof is very thin and it's metal. It was a garden room and now it's an office. So if I need to, I can put myself on mute and move to the kitchen. You tell me if you need me to
No,
do that.
that's okay. We're fine. Long as we know what it is. But,
Yeah.
I agree with that. But, here it is. It's about the value of someone that you're with, right? And so if you're on social media, you're disvaluing them for being on social media, not actually being with them. So it's a lot of positive and negative about it. The other thing is it kind of, it creates a lot of insecurity within a relationship, doesn't it? When we're talking about that.
Yes. It absolutely does. And
yeah,
I hope, by
really
the way, for those who are commenting on TikTok, the rain might stop soon. It may not. I'm looking at my my weather app to see. But yeah, I agree with you, Cece. And I think so. You mentioned something else that's really important too. Having a partner who's not on social media can impact the relationship. So I remember when I was talking to a couple of different folks, whether they were exes of mine or my life coach / very good best friend, and they said to me, "You need to find somebody who values social media the way that you do, because you are on social media a lot. You care about what people think on social media. You need to find somebody who cares about it that same way." And so, for example, when I would go out with a Tess, for example, who was big on social media, I got that she understood what social media was like. But if I dated somebody who was, let's say, a school teacher or not, just somebody who wasn't big on social, it was really hard for them to comprehend what I valued about social. Now, with my partner, she's big on social media, not only personally, but professionally. So we can get it. And also, the fun thing is, I never had somebody that I would want to make some social media with. And now it's like, hey, do you want to collaborate and make some content? Is that kind of fun? I'll tell you, I don't have it on me right now. I got, I get this a lot where somebody sends me a product and says, hey, would you check it out? Sure. It's a sex chocolate. It increases your libido and your sex drive. And yeah, I did a video on it today. I'm going to post it tomorrow. But to be honest, in the video, I said, I got to wait for my partner to come back because we got to try this together. And I emailed them.
You don't want to be frustrated.
Right. So I emailed them and I said, hey, would you consider messaging my partner? She has way more followers than I do, at least on TikTok. So would you? And they were like, absolutely. So Lexa says, my ex-husband would plug into audiobooks and that still felt like abandonment in the same space. Oh, pretty sure I thought you were in a hurricane, says Raising Tennessee. Hip to the Izzo says, I love the rain sense. So I do agree though. When you're spending time alone together, it hurts your feelings, does it not?
Oh yeah, definitely. But it almost becomes like an addiction, doesn't it?
It does.
I think a lot of people, they get on it and it becomes almost like an addiction. They've got to check their emails. And for me, it becomes frustrating because, sometimes I just want to shut down a little bit. If I'm out shopping or something and my phone's going off like crazy.
Yeah.
I want to try to get something accomplished, something done. And this immediate need to, contact somebody and expect them to return that right away is tremendous. And so it's a lot of pressure on people. We don't turn off enough.
Right.
So it definitely impacts us. I think it becomes very stressful, and which then carries over into our relationships because we just don't get a break.
No. Yeah, no, we don't. And I think what's important to note is that you can spend time alone together without the screen, right? So you and your partner reading a book, let's say, very different than you and your partner attached to a screen, right? Even you and your partner out at a party, I'm talking to this person, she's talking to that person, still very different because they're in our circle. We know them, right? It's a very different type of relationship, right? Versus who am I talking to online? What type of media am I interacting with online that could be detrimental to my relationship? You know what I mean? So I get, you're trying to live your life and these distractions are coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the other thing is if you're like your example, if you're out at a party and you're seeing someone, your partner's seeing that too. So they know right up front there's nothing going on. But when you're hiding something on the phone, or you're going in the bathroom, or you're, going into another room and you're typing and you don't know what the other person is saying. You don't know what's going on. And so, yeah, it really does affect it. But I think really when it comes down to it, it's devaluing the person that you're with, or devaluing anybody that you could possibly be with, whether it be a partner or even at work or whatever. You're devaluing, your wherever you're at, because you're taking time away and your attention away from that person, that thing, and putting it on social media.
100%. 100%. I see Lexa here on TikTok. I hope you can still hear me. Should I move? Should I just move to the kitchen?
If you want, I mean.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Why are you wearing the ear things? Are you, because you can't hear, or?
Oh no, I can hear you, but it helps to hear. Should I take them off?
It's up to you.
That's fine. I'll unplug there. But can you hear me even with all the rain?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
okay.
I believe I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so as long as you can hear me, we're good. So Lexa on TikTok.
Actually, it seems like it stopped now.
Yeah, but it comes back. We've seen more rain in Vegas in 2 months, 2.5 months, than we've seen in most years. It's crazy, and I would have never guessed if I put the office in this room for a reason, and now I'm regretting it, only because of the rain. So now what am I going to do? Go up on the roof and change the roof? I don't know what to do. So. Yeah. And plus, because this was the garden room, there's an itty bitty leak right where the garden room meets the rest of the house, and so it's ticking me off. I got to figure out how to get rid of it. But anyway, so Lexa says, saying something like, "I need to unwind or unplug for an hour, and then I'll be able to be here and be present with you," is also about setting a time limit on that, right? So you and I are in a relationship. I say, you know what, Cece, I need to be on social media for a little bit. I want to check a couple things. Or you know what, honestly, sometimes I'll say to Megan, who I love, when we get together, we're in a vacuum. I mean, it's well deserved because we work very hard and we love each other. We want to honor each other. But sometimes I look at my phone. I've got 36 notifications. I go, this is making me anxious. It's driving me crazy. Can I go on this for a little bit and just sort through it and figure it out? And she kind of knows that's what's up. And then throughout, I can be like, oh, by the way, mom says hi. Your sister liked my thing. You know what I mean? That kind of, so that's a good interaction. So I'd like to. What do we think about? What about some positive interactions that happen? What does social media bring?
Okay. Oh, we've got a comment here. I'm sorry. Everybody, you can do a comment.
Instagram.
Megan said it's all about trust. Sometimes there's something beautiful about being able to exist alone, but with another person. Exist alone with another person, I think she's saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would agree with that. I think the question becomes where that trust is and kind of what we're doing together alone, right? So it's like so I remember, I'll bring this back, right? I remember my ex-wife would say to me at the very end of our relationship, she said, you would look down at your phone when you were sitting on the couch with me and you would laugh or smile, and I knew something was up, and it put a pit in my stomach. Now, that could have been something, but it could have been nothing, and I didn't know. Or honestly, maybe I didn't care to know what I was doing to that poor woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the trust.
I mean, let's talk about something positive with social media. For me, it was when I was going through my divorce, and I wasn't really on social media before my divorce. I don't even think I was on Facebook or anything like that.
Right.
And then when my daughter said, okay, you got to get a life, I'm thinking, how can I get a life, So then I started searching ways to do that, and I found social media, and then I connected. And I will tell you that some of the friends that I have made on social media has really got me through some of the darkest times of my life. I mean, they are still friends with me and we've connected, and we're still friends, and we still talk, and I see the pictures about them, and even if it's just them, what they have for dinner, it got me out of my world, out of that negative place that I was at, and it helped me move me into something else. And think about social media with all the different places that you get to see, you get to experience. I mean, I probably wouldn't have met you had it not been social media.
Absolutely.
So it's, it can open so many doors for you, both personally and professionally, if you use it to a very positive way. And so I've made it a rule that I try never to really get I mean, very seldom do I ever put on something negative on my social media. I
Sure.
try to make it a rule not to do that, because I want to be looked at as being an uplifting person. I want to uplift other people. And so I
Mhm.
don't want I don't want to get mad. I mean, occasionally I've done it. I mean, I have
Yeah.
done it. But get on and do a rant on, on Facebook or something like that. Because the reality is whatever we put out there is going to stay for the rest of our lives and then some.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and it could be used against us. I used to work for an attorney, and that's a one rule they always had is never put anything in writing,
Yep.
and that is going to come back and bite you. And even so, it might very well. And so you want to make sure you do that. And I see people do go and put rants and carry
Yeah.
on and things like that. But and I, I'm real. I mean, I'm a real person. I've done
Sure.
it, But
Well,
yeah.
I say this. So you always want to, because not everybody puts the negative stuff on social media. You always want to be careful though, right? So you're in a relationship, you're having a rough day, you look at somebody else's relationship and you go, "Oh man, Cece and her partner have really got it going on. They must look. They're always on a boat. They're always having fun. You're not posting a bad day, right? So you always have to be careful about that too, right? But I'm always when somebody posts negatively about their partner or ex on social media, I'm immediately turned off. I do not want to engage with that person because I'm thinking to myself, if I screw up, I'm going on social media. They're gonna blast me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to your point about meeting new people, so one of the articles I brought up was insider.com, right? It says, hey, one of the great things about being in a relationship and being on social media is you can meet people who have your challenges. For example, the LGBTQ plus community. You can find other queer folks who may be online dealing with the barriers you're dealing with in Alabama, Tennessee, whatever state that they're in. You can also, if you have serious interest. So Megan and I, for example, we like to go to certain lifestyle events and clubs and things like that. And maybe we're not meeting people to go with, but we're meeting people who have those interests so we can be like, hey, have you ever had this experience? Let's talk about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I've got a divorce group on,
Yeah.
a couple different divorce groups on the social media on Facebook, and so they're very active. And then I have the singles group, the awesome women and men, the singles, and so we have that on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have some other, of course, with all the media stuff we do here, we have all of that on. And I will say I do a show. It's called Going Where the Locals Go. And
Oh, I
so
love that.
going around in some of our local places, and we went to one of our breakfast places and we had breakfast and we filmed there and everything and we put it up. And I tell you what, and then I did a review on them. And I mean, they're getting like 10,000, views on and we went in to eat the other day and it was like packed. We had to wait in line to get in. It
Right,
was
right, right.
really great.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So social media can be a blessing if you use it the right way. It can really
Mhm.
help you. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and we've even met folks who, let's say when I was in my open phase or doing a little bit of this or that, we've met folks that we could play with or meet across the country or across the
Mhm.
globe. So that's exciting too. One thing I'll bring up something that some might receive as negative, but I'm going to spin it in a positive way. So Megan and I are long distance. Sometimes we wake up and honestly, we just wake up on the wrong side of the bed because we're not together and whatever. And we're not vibing that day. Maybe we didn't get to have our coffee in the morning over video chat.
Mhm.
And I will say this, Megan is now venturing from TikTok. She's trying to build her Instagram following, and I'm fully supportive of that. I started on Instagram and then I moved over to TikTok, so I'm a little different. She's posting her outfits of the day on Instagram. And one thing that happens now, they seem to find their way to a negative side of Instagram where people are making fun of her size and saying gross and all these nasty things. Without a doubt, when Megan and we never have a bad day, really. I mean, we've had them before, but not anymore. Even when we're having a melancholy day, I see that on social media. She won't show me, right? Because she's going about her day. I see that on social media. I am absolutely screaming at those trolls and coming to her aid, and we're bonding over that, right?
Mhm.
Or it could be, did you, maybe it's something we see. You put something silly on social media. Go, did you see what Cece put on social media? Could you believe that clown? You know what I mean? And so you can bond over what you're seeing on social media as well.
Yeah. Well, I look at it this way, is that if you get those kind of trolls, you get those people that are negatives or naysayers, I think you made it. You made it big, because you know what? If they don't come to people that are, uninteresting, right? They don't make comments. They don't waste their time.
Yeah. Nobody's don't get haters.
You have to be friggin' interesting for them to come and start knocking you down and saying bad things about you and all of that. So when it happens to me, I just say, oh, I got somebody's attention. And so,
Absolutely.
So social media works. We're going to have to take a quick break, but when we come back, let's talk about how difficult it is and how you can get through it when you do a breakup on social media. Let's talk about
we've talked about that before. Let's definitely talk about that. So if you're on Instagram, just hang out with us. You can listen to the commercials. We'll be right back.
Yes, we'll be right back. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
Welcome back, guys. Yeah, you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the Boy and Girl Thing show. I am Cece Schatz, the doyen of relationship building. I'm a divorce, dating, and a life coach. I have my great friend here, Dr. Christopher Salute. He's got all kinds of initials after his name, MBA, PhD, CEO, and he's a life and relationship coach.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
We had some good questions, Cece, while we were on break. Number one is, Lexa is wondering where CC comes in from. Now, you're on the west side of Florida. Is that correct?
I'm in Clearwater. Yeah.
Which is the west coast.
I'm on the west side of Florida.
The west side of Florida. So the west side of the East Coast. She also says, Lexa, that Instagram's a different crowd for sure. She finds much more support on TikTok and less trolling. So that's good to know. But I agree with you, Cece. You haven't made it until you have some haters. And Kiki says hi to everybody. So welcome to the show, Kiki. How are you doing?
Yeah, great. That's wonderful.
So before we get going, I want to talk quickly about that Going Solo directory. If you are listening and you're watching, so Cece and I don't know if you know this, we do this not only for free, we pay money. We spend money on these shows. So when you see a commercial for what we're doing, we're talking very small dollars here. If you want to support in a way that means more than just words, and we love your words, we love your comments, more so than that, buy some of our advertising, get on our Going Solo directory, go on goingbold.com. These are websites not just that will benefit us because we bring in some money, it like barely covers our costs, but they benefit you, they bring you into our community. So definitely do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to blow our horn a little bit, I mean, we closed out last year like over 3 million. We're already hitting
3 million on Roku, right?
Yeah, we're going we're averaging now about 800,000 a month on Roku and Amazon TV. Just that alone, that platform alone. And then we're not doing so strong on YouTube for some reason. We've fallen on YouTube, but we're picking up on all the podcast stations. So we're on every podcast station, I think there is out there. And if we're not, let me know and we'll try to get on it. But,
You got it. So I want to get back to a couple of positive things regarding social media. But you had mentioned a breakup on social media. So let's talk about that.
I was thinking about that because there's nothing. It seems like it's so hurtful anyhow to break up, right? You have to go through all that and your family and your friends and all that. But then when you have to break up on social media, it's like the whole world freaking knows you broke up.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
and it's very, very painful. And, some people make a big production over it and it becomes
Yeah.
even more known. And, and it's just a really hurtful thing. And so, sometimes it's better. And I would recommend this is that you can connect on, and it's nice to do when you guys are first start dating, you can connect each other on Facebook and it says who you're with. But maybe, and I've done this myself, maybe it's a good idea to just not connect on Facebook and just say you're in a relationship. You can say
Right.
you're in a relationship, because you want people to know, number one, that you are, and the other, you want to honor your partner that you're in a relationship. But
Sure.
maybe it's better not to say, so then they are not bothered, with other people, or if something happens, people don't know about it as much. So, if you've got a lot of following, especially influencers and things, maybe
Yeah.
that is the way to go, so that you're not.
Well, yeah, and there's a couple of thoughts there. Number one is I can't stand when a brand new relationship happens and people are all over social media about it, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, whatever. Because then what happens is 2 weeks later, because it happens. If the first thing you do is go to social media when you're in a relationship, you're in the wrong relationship. Bottom line, you're in a relationship for the wrong reasons. So what winds up happening is 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, the relationship ends, and then either they're quiet about exiting and you're wondering, and that's fine, or they make, like you said, a big production about it, and they call them out and they do the thing and they're crying on the social media. And it's like, do you really need people to know everything about your relationship? Number one. Number two, I don't think there's a single person who goes on social media and says, you know what, Cece and I broke up, but she's the most amazing person in the world. You should hit her up for a date. You know what I'm saying? What they say is typically, Cece and I broke up. She's a terrible human being, and she smells funny on Tuesdays or whatever. And it's terrible. What I see and what I notice is this: instead of when I see people who are married, I see two things happen. I see the guy change his profile picture to himself and do nothing more, and then I see the wife might change her profile picture to the kids, and then at that moment when those two things happen, they're getting a divorce.
Oh, maybe that's true. But it is a very difficult thing. I mean, it's hard enough, relationships are hard enough. And here's the other thing is like, okay, who's to say it isn't just a glitch that happens in the system? And then you guys, that you were together and then then you're no longer. It could be just a friggin' glitch, and then all of a sudden you're getting all these messages saying, "Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry you broke up. I'm sorry you broke up," and then you realize, what the heck,
Yeah, I didn't break up. Yeah,
What's this?
exactly.
And then you go to your partner. What's going on here?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I can imagine. So
And it's a glitch. But then the other thing I was going to say too is that often I think as we're dating, especially maybe when we're a little bit older and we have a little stuff going on in our lives, we're trying to figure it out. We have growing pains, as we're dating and we're going through building our relationships. And sometimes you might take a breather, take a break from each other, and if you step back from social media, then people wonder, oh, you broke up, oh, this kind of thing. Well, really, you're just kind of taking a breath a little bit, trying to regroup and really figure out, is this truly what you want? And as you move forward. And so you might take a couple of those as you move forward in your relationship, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you've like definitely broke up. You're just,
No.
So it's like sometimes we get too involved in somebody else's life,
Absolutely.
when we need to really be involved in our own life, right?
Absolutely. And it's interesting. So I've dated a couple of kind of high profile folks, and after a while, or sometimes I even met them on social media, so people saw us interacting originally. And if I there's a breakup, I'm not going to post that on social media because I'm probably embarrassed about it. I don't want to talk about it. And then, even to this day, I get people going, "Hey, whatever happened? You were dating this person, you were dating that person." It's like, I don't want to hear about that. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about that. So it's true. Putting yourself in that spotlight can really impact your self-esteem as you're going through your breakup. But it could also, let's just say you change your status. there could be somebody out there who's been waiting for you. A great example is my relationship status changed when I got divorced. And I got a message months later. It wasn't immediate, right? Because I think women have a little bit more couth than guys do. Guys are in your inbox going, "Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. How can I help? I'm here for you." When they really, what they really want. And so I get a message a couple of months later from a friend of mine that I knew in college, and we had a mutual friend who I had a huge crush on in college. And she said, "I'm laying here at the pool with so and so, and we were wondering what happened with you. Are you getting a divorce?" I said, "Yeah, I'm getting a divorce, and it's blah, blah, blah." And she said, "You should contact this person because she'd like to talk to you." And so we wound up getting a chance to meet and go on a few dates and do these things. And it didn't work out, but it was a beautiful thing that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do had she not seen my social media status.
Right, right. Well, let's talk about employers, because now employers use your social media status against you.
Yeah,
know?
sure.
And I mean, that can be a huge deal breaker for you. You could be looking for a job. You could be fired if they check out your social media and you're doing certain things, or if you say you're sick and you're out on your social media,
right,
the baseball game or something. It's like, yeah, I thought you were sick. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen to you, employment wise now that they use that against you.
Well, I think it depends on the employer and it depends on the situation. A lot of employers now are taking the opposite approach. They're saying, you know what? Your personal life is your personal life. What you put on social media, as long as you're not doing anything illegal or terrible, is your thing. But yeah, some employers are still doing that. I mean, I talk about some controversial stuff on social media, right? Mm-hmm. And so I depend on my employer to be able to say, you know what? Your life here is your life. Your life from 9 to 5 is your life there, and nor do they mix. Something funny happened a couple of months ago when I was defending. So Megan was getting trolled, and I went to go defend her. And man, I lost my cool. I let these people, and they were probably like 8-year-old kids I was yelling at. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do you sons," and I'm like screaming at them on social media. And I wound up sending what they posted to their parents. And their parents started yelling at. But then to retaliate, one of the kids was like, "Hey, I wonder what your employer would think about you cursing it at people online." To which I replied, I thought about it, and I go, my employer would be fine with me advocating for somebody who's getting bullied. So I think it's fine. But if I were with a different employer, that could have negatively impacted me.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think that you do need to be aware of your employer and be, when you are posting and things like that, you better think twice about what you do. And make sure that that your employer is going to be okay with it, because if not, it can come up and bite you for sure.
Yeah,
so you have to be very careful with that.
Lexa,
and then you have bullies and stuff like that. I mean, just don't do to somebody else what you wouldn't want done to you. Don't say something to somebody else that you wouldn't want somebody to say to you. I mean, let's just be nice and be human.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lexa on Instagram, I love this. She mentions, and this is important, especially open, poly, LGBTQ folks, those are not protected classes, right? So those are classes that have, you can discriminate against those right now legally. I mean, you can't. They're not protected classes, right? Meaning that there's no laws in place that can protect those folks in the workplace. So you say that you're queer, you say that you're polyamorous, you say that you're in an open relationship online. Your employer may just say, you know what, I don't like that. And I'm going to find a reason to fire this person. So you got to be careful about what you put on there, which stinks, because if you want to be an openly queer person on the internet, you should be able to be who you want to be,
Right. Well, there again, I mean, all right, with saying that, you should be able to be who you want to be, but then the employers, I guess they have a right to, if they want to review you, you're open, it's public. And if they can review you and they don't really like what they see, then I guess they have a right to do what they want to do. But here's the thing, is like, I just think that if we need to be smart about stuff that we do, on social media, we just really need to. And there's no reason to discriminate against anybody for anything, unless they're doing something that's really terrible. I mean, hurting somebody or whatever. I mean,
right.
Let's just be human. Let's just be a little bit realistic in our thoughts, as we move forward in life. But
absolutely.
But I personally love social media. I mean, it's helped me out, and I mean, I don't think I would be where I'm at today with our Going Solo network if it wasn't for people that have just constantly supported me and pushed me and encouraged me and follow me and all of those kind of things, and everybody that I come in contact with. There's everybody is so supportive in all the walks of life. So it's tremendous. I mean, I have married people supporting me because half of them say, oh, I remember, I went through a divorce myself where I wish you were there when I was going through my divorce. So they'll support me
Yeah.
because they realize that we're really making a change in people and really helping them. So, and then all the dating stuff, it's not easy to date. It's not easy to come back from a broken relationship to be healed enough to be able to move forward into another relationship. And, you constantly are triggered and whatever. And so, so they need help along the way. So, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. I completely agree. So I think we've learned everything we're going to learn this evening. I know we've got the barbershop coming up, and
Yeah.
I think I know my ADHD usually disqualifies me after 40 minutes. So tonight we talked a little bit about social media, how it impacts relationships, right? Generationally, over the decades, as it's changed, positive, negative, all that kind of fun stuff. And I think, to CC's point, I think what's valuable is, hey, let's be human. Let's be human first and computers and work on computers second. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Feel free to join us at the barbershop. We're going to have Graham Williamson on at the barbershop. We're going to talk about his job as a medium and interacting with folks in the afterlife a bit. And I'm curious to see what he's got to say. I've got some great conversations that I want to have with him. So join the barbershop at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But Cece, feel free to call it out.
Yeah, before we close, I just want to say one thing. We have really kicked off our radio station. We've been in radio. A lot of people don't realize that we're on internet radio. We've been on internet radio for probably about 10 years now.
Yeah.
But we're doing live, and we're also doing music now. So we're 24/7. It's on our Going Solo Media. You'll see the link there, the player, and it's 24/7. And we have actually, while we're doing our show here, we have a live show, which is the Music for Your Soul, and so that's going to be on till midnight Eastern time. So when we leave here, after you leave, close out your show, should still be going on. So just excited. And then on Thursday nights, if somebody wants to join me, I'm going to be live on the radio. And so it's called Love and Pillow Talk. So it's a brand new show. Love and Pillow Talk.
Did you know that I was not just in college, I was a radio DJ, but not just for my college station, for like real radio stations. I was on the air live.
Yeah, well, this is a real radio station. We're licensed. That's why we call ourselves WGSN-DB.
Yeah,
we are a licensed internet radio station. So, but yeah, so maybe you want to be a DJ. We have room for DJs.
Absolutely.
You can add that to your other list of million things.
Right. It's an initial, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm interested in your show, The Barbershop. Yeah. I'm going to be listening. So Graham Williamson, you guys can comment and he can talk to you, live. So definitely hang around for that show. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Cece. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you at the barbershop soon.
Okay, you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the Boy and Girl Thing. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.